Glenn, it is hard to keep a straight face reading those pieces of that deposition.
You know, Lawrence, that may be the least compelling defense I've ever heard as a former career prosecutor. Now, you are the sort of self-proclaimed stickler of a chief financial officer. You're keeping track of every dollar that comes into and goes out of the Trump organization. And you're confronted with your own email where you are expressly discussing the fact that executives are setting up fictitious offices in either Illinois or Delaware. And your defense is, well, I was just concerned with the cost of the fictitious office. And he actually, I think, used the phrase, the legality is not really my thing. And that phrase may be the least compelling defense I've ever heard, that the legality part is not really my thing.
Well, the legality is going to be his thing in the grand jury investigation that the Manhattan District Attorney is doing now. And that's the kind of, Glenn, talk about the difference between a civil deposition, which is what that was, and someone like Allen Weisselberg, if he is forced to testify in a grand jury proceeding, and how different that is.
Yeah, I mean, in a grand jury proceeding, and I've been in lots of grand juries, prosecutors will really wear him out. They will confront him with every piece of documentation, every email, if they have his text messages, and they will leave no stone unturned. But the bad news for Allen Weisselberg is whether it's in a civil deposition or in a grand jury setting, anything you say can be used as an admission against you unless you've been granted immunity. And remember, there was a time when the Southern District of New York prosecutors were investigating Michael Cohen for the campaign finance violations he committed with and at the direction of Donald Trump. And there was a limited immunity granted back then, which would have been federal, not state. And that's what Cy Vance is investigating. So, you know, that's another sure sign that if you had to be granted even limited immunity by the feds, obviously you were engaged in some misconduct.
And for a witness like Weisselberg, the threat of possible perjury charges is very thick in the air in a grand jury room as opposed to a civil deposition.
Yeah, and not only that, if he has co-conspirator liability, if hypothetically the Trump organization is a criminal conspiracy and he was part of it, you know, co-conspirator liability, the reach is extraordinarily far. So he would actually be criminally responsible for every crime committed by every other member of the conspiracy, whether he personally participated in that crime or not. So it looks like DA Vance has quite a bit to work with to try to bring Weisselberg into the fold and then potentially flip him against Trump.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.